Hey there, my Second Amendment friends. I have another kind of chapter, if you will, to the whole solvent trap and force reset trigger saga that seems to be going on and on. Just a quick heads up that John Crump over at AmmoLand has been doing a ton of work behind the scenes and putting a lot of content out on this. And one of the viewers, I'm not going to mention his name in this out of respect to him and to honor his wishes, was visited by the ATF last Thursday. This gentleman, I'm just going to call him Mr. X, who was a viewer of Legally Armed America, sent me all of this video and all this information. These two ATF agents pulled up to his house in this dark blue Dodge Ram pickup truck. As you can see, one of them is a little thick, has a little bit of trouble walking. I don't know if it was a big ladies' night out Wednesday night or a boys only night out on Wednesday night, and just things went sideways on him. But as you can see, he struggles to walk. The other guy behind him in the light colored shirt, the thinner guy, seems like he's a little bit unsure of himself throughout the entire video. He fidgets a lot. I don't know what he's fidgeting with his left hand in his pocket. You know these guys are armed, but he clearly is not comfortable being here. But a little bit of backstory on Mr. X. Mr. X purchased actually 6 items that these ATF agents are harassing people for. He's got 3 force reset triggers and 3 solvent traps that he bought. And get this, all off of Gunbroker. You see where everything is all starting to find itself centered in and pointing at Gunbroker? Not saying Gunbroker is divulging any of this customer information, but it does seem, and of course, John Crump is also finding this over at AmmoLand, that everything is Gunbroker related. Now, John has nailed this down a little bit more to find that there are individual sellers that he's driven it down to even more. In case in point, this particular seller that Mr. X bought some of these items from is one of them that is on John's radar screen. So it's interesting that as you start to drill down, you start to find some specifics out there or some commonalities that definitely start to paint a better picture and tell you where this story is headed and really where the hot spots are. Mr. X was not home when these 2 gentlemen came to his house, and this is in South Carolina, by the way. So as you can see, the thicker guy put his card on the gentleman's door, on Mr. X's door, with a little note there. I blacked out Mr. X's name here, but one point that these guys are notorious for in their bullying tactic and their intimidation tactics is they address the person when they leave a card like this by their first name or by their name in general, because they want to let them know, we know who you are. This is their kind of low-key way of saying, I know who you are, I know where you live, give me a call. And so that's exactly what they did right here, and show them that I was on your front porch, I know your name, know where you live. I disregarded the welcome sign. He must have assumed that welcome sign was there for him. It probably was not. So they leave the card and then they just leave. I spoke to Mr. X, and Mr. X, number 1, has not called them back. Number 2, is not calling them back. Number 3, reached out to a very popular legal counsel organization. I'll just leave it at that. And that organization told Mr. X to turn everything over to the ATF that they were asking for. Not so fast. Mr. X is not going to do that. Mr. X has now kicked this organization to the curb, and this coming week will be seeking adequate and more appropriate legal counsel that will fight for his rights, because he does not intend to give any of this stuff up. The ATF will have to come with a warrant if they intend to actually pull any of this stuff from Mr. X. And per John Crump has inside sources that have said that right now, currently, as we speak, the ATF is not generating warrants or getting warrants for any of this, and they're not confiscating anything unless a customer just openly and freely gives it to them. So they're not going out and actually confiscating this via a warrant. So right now, and that's right now, I'm not saying that won't change, but right now that's currently the state of this. So I think Mr. X is along the right track. I like the fact that these people are not allowing the ATF to completely bully them. I know some people are, and I get it. Some people just have more of a tendency to go along with that authority because sometimes it's uncomfortable, and you got families, you're thinking your families and all that, and they're like, no, I got to do whatever these guys want. But you don't have to. That's the thing. They give the impression that you have to do whatever they say when they ask for it. And again, your response should always be, is that covered in the warrant? And if they don't have a warrant, cannot produce one, then they're wasting your time, and you can politely ask them to leave. Guys, there's way more of this to come. I know John Crump is working on this religiously. I'm going to continue to seek out these customers who are getting these visits out that and try to assemble the information that I can, because I think it's important that we see how people are properly handling all this. And kudos to Mr. X for handling this way. I will be following back up once he's gotten legal counsel to see what their recommendations are, and hopefully we can pass that information on to you guys too. Look for another video that I'm going to put out. GOA, Gun Owners of America, as you guys know, they work hard behind the scenes and they work hard for us to properly protect our Second Amendment rights. They recently put out a video on what to do in these instances. They actually give some advice on how to handle this particular situation. So I'm going to take their video and I'm going to package it and re-upload it so you guys can take a look at it. And look, don't ever forget, there is a link down below in the description of my video that has a link to Gun Owners of America, where you can save $5 on your membership by clicking on the Legally Armed America link. Save yourself some money, help the organization out. Let me tell you something, Gun Owners of America does not fly around in big fancy jets and buy $200,000 suits for themselves with your membership money. They use that money to investigate situations like this and to file lawsuits on behalf of us, all of us Second Amendment supporters out there. So do consider, if you don't mind, checking the link out below and go and save a little bit of money, but spending it for a good cause. Thanks, guys.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.